president of the Senate in Haiti in 1994 when Bill Clinton invaded the island. And I have the records about the Clinton Foundation. And I want to have a few minutes today to talk about that. In February of 1994, I became president of the Senate, and I had to deal with the Clinton invasion of Haiti. And I learned so much about the Clinton because I was working so much with the American intelligence at that time.
Contrary to reports in the media, the crowdsourced investigation labeled by some as Pizzagate did not begin with internet sleuths digging through the WikiLeaks Podesta files releases looking for pizza parlors and encoded language discussing human trafficking. It began with the shocking discovery that Hillary and Bill Clinton provided assistance to convicted child trafficker Laura Silsby, resulting in a reduced sentence for child trafficking. Silsby was arrested at the Haitian border attempting to smuggle 33 children out of Haiti without documentation. Her sentence and charges were reduced after an intervention by Bill Clinton. In the aftermath of Silsby's arrest, her originally retained lawyer, Jorge Puello, was arrested in connection with an international smuggling ring accused of trafficking women and minors from Central America and Haiti. The revelation of this news in November was either ignored by the Western media or attacked by Clinton-controlled publications. Laura Silsby is the former director of the New Life Children's Refuge. Emails from her organization can be found in WikiLeaks' Hillary Clinton email archive discussing the NGO before her arrest. Silsby's organization also appears in Clinton's emails, soliciting donations for their ministry. The refuge was founded by Silsby and Charissa Coulter, both attendees of the Central Valley Baptist Church in Meridian, Idaho. Silsby was reported to have a history of bad debts and unpaid wages. Laura had claimed she planned to build an orphanage in the Dominican Republic, but a State Department diplomatic cable revealed that authorities in the country said she never submitted an application for this purpose. They instead located to Haiti. On January 29, 2010, Silsby was arrested with 9 other American nationals attempting to steal 33 children from the country, most of whom were not even orphans and had families according to some reports. CNN reported on February 9, 2010 that this was not the first time Silsby had attempted to traffic children out of Haiti. Haitian police, acting on a tip, had intercepted Silsby on an earlier separate attempt to remove 40 children out of the country. She was turned back at the Haitian border. For a brief period, Haitian authorities were considering adding a new kidnapping charge based on this evidence. Hillary and Bill Clinton took an extraordinary interest in Silsby's case from the moment she was arrested and almost immediately stepped in on her behalf. The Harvard Human Rights Journal stated that one of Bill Clinton's first acts of special envoy for the United Nations in Haiti was to put out the fire of a child abduction scandal involving American citizens. On February 7, 2010, the Sunday Times reported that Bill Clinton had intervened to strike a deal with the Haitian government, securing the release of all co-conspirators except for Silsby. Prosecutors ultimately sought a 6-month sentence in Silsby's case, reducing charges for conspiracy and child abduction to mere arranging irregular travel, a shockingly light penalty given the circumstances of her arrest, which would likely not have been impossible but for the intervention of the Clintons in Silsby's case. On February 9, 2010, Hillary Clinton consulted with counselor Cheryl Mills and other attorneys in an email discussing the U.S. government's options regarding the arrested Americans. The heavily redacted memo attached to that email does not reveal what these options consisted of. However, the State Department American Citizen Services is only authorized to offer lists of local English-speaking attorneys to Americans arrested or detained abroad. To go beyond that authorization is a severe violation of protocol and is illegal. Additional emails reveal that the State Department was involved with making statements on the Silsby scandal and preparing to assist Silsby's co-conspirators with their return to the United States, although this is consistent with State Department protocol in these situations. On February 11th, the New York Times reported that Silsby's original lawyer, Jorge Puello, was suspected of leading an international human trafficking ring involving women and minors. According to the Harvard Human Rights Journal, Puello was ultimately arrested in an investigation being led by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and Homeland Security investigations. In connection with the ring, he was wanted in the United States, El Salvador, and Costa Rica for his involvement with a network trafficking Central Americans and Haitians. At the time of his arrest, his wife was already imprisoned in El Salvador and faced charges of presumed sexual exploitation of minors and women. Puello was ultimately sentenced to 3 years in federal prison for alien smuggling, another surprisingly light sentence given the original charges he was sought for. It is not known at this time whether or not Laura Silsby was associated with Puello's criminal enterprise. Since her release from detention in Haiti, Laura Silsby has returned to Idaho. In 2015, she married and took the last name Gaylor. Silsby is currently employed by software company AlertSense as their vice president of marketing. AlertSense works with the federal government on FEMA's Integrated Public Alert and Warning System, IPAWS. One of IPAWS functions is to issue Amber Alerts during kidnapping events. According to socialistworker.org, Silsby told reporters, "God wanted us to come here to help children. We are convinced of that. Our hearts were in the right place." But Silsby at least knew that the missionaries were flouting the law. In a letter to the United Nations, Anne Christine Dadesky, a writer and human rights activist, said she met with Silsby on January 24th in a hotel in the Dominican Republic. Silsby allegedly told Dadesky that her authorization to pick up Haitian orphans and bring them into the Dominican Republic came from an unnamed Dominican official. I informed her that this would be regarded as illegal, even with some Dominican minister authorizing, since the children are Haitian, Dadesky wrote, adding that she directed Silsby to UN agencies dealing with orphans and adoptions in the country. Dadesky told the Wall Street Journal that Silsby responded, "We have been sent by the Lord to rescue these children, and if that's in the Lord's plan, we will be successful." Anne Christine Dadesky is an American journalist and activist of French and Haitian descent. Her father was born in Haiti, where the family roots go back far, spending her childhood summers and still has extended family living there. Dadesky earned a master's degree in journalism from Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism in 1982 and a bachelor's degree from Barnard College in New York City in 1979. As a journalist, Dadesky has been a foreign correspondent in Haiti, working as a stringer for the San Francisco Examiner and the Village Voice. She wrote about HIV and AIDS for various newspapers, including the New York Native and In These Times, and later magazines including The Advocate. She was senior editor at Out magazine in the mid-1990s, in charge of health coverage, and also wrote investigative features and long-form profiles. In 1998, she launched HIV Plus magazine, where she served as founding editor-in-chief for 2 years before the magazine was sold to The Advocate. She then turned to writing a series on global AIDS for the newsletter of the AMFAR, the Foundation for AIDS Research. She also wrote about AIDS for magazines such as Seed and The Nation, newspapers such as the San Francisco Examiner, and health agencies such as the World Health Organization. In 2003, she co-produced Pills, Profit, Protest, Chronicle of the Global AIDS Movement, a documentary about global AIDS treatment activism. As an activist, Dadesky has been active in the peace and women's movements and attended the Seneca Women's Encampment for a Future of Peace and Justice, where she protested the presence of nuclear cruise missiles on U.S. soil. She was an early member of ACT UP, who participated in the first Wall Street protest and other famous actions, demanding faster access to life-saving HIV medications and later access to HIV drugs for people living in poor countries. She also joined Get Smart, an art activist group. Dadesky is one of the 6 founders of the Lesbian Avengers, which began in New York City in 1992 as a direct action group focused on issues vital to lesbian survival and visibility. The Dadesky family is considered one of Haiti's elite families, with a long history of businesses in Haiti as well as southern Florida. Some of those companies include DACO, Dadesky Import Export S.A., and Marcolda, Sea Freight, EWL, Spleethoff, Dade Sky Trading, the Wahoo Bay Beach Resort, as well as Calico Beach Resort. Back in February of 2017, 18 arrests were made at the Calico Beach Club Hotel involving a child trafficking ring. according to the capital city chief prosecutor government commissioner Jean Danton Leger, who provided details on the sting in several interviews he held throughout the day. He said room 158 where the adults were found, adjacent to room 155 where the 33 girls were found, substances resembling cocaine and marijuana were recovered. This is interesting because such drugs, especially cocaine, is not widely used in Haiti. It is not easily purchased in retail in non-producing third world countries like Haiti, although such countries like Haiti are trafficking routes for narcotics to the U.S. and Canada. Usage of the costly drugs are rare. The commissioner also said that a laptop was seized at the scene. He said there are photos and videos of adults participating in what he described as abuse and sexual acts with minors, not of the some 31 who rescued at the hotel. He says he is more certain than ever that the child trafficking, as he called it, that was thwarted at Calico Beach Club includes sex trafficking and the sex trade. For his assistant, Madame Prevost, finding in the laptops drugs and currencies at the scene hint to a large network, she said. It was through the help of missionaries in Haiti that police were tipped off of the activities in December. Both Commissioner Leger and Inspector Desrosiers have confirmed this. They said that these foreigners were approached by individuals offering them minors. It was then that the investigation was launched. Through interrogations with the girls at the Central Directorate of Judicial Police, the girls, police say, they learned that some were coaxed with invitations by the Haitian suspects to take part in a party on a yacht and take flights aboard a helicopter. Police say neither of the vehicles were confirmed to be in the area. The suspect, the foreign parties had intended to take the children out of the country where then they could be subject to kidnapping, sexual exploitation, and/or organ farming. The owner of the hotel is one Genevieve Dedesky, who in an article with the Brand Haiti Word Press back in January of 2013 recalls her thoughts of the devastating earthquake of January 12, 2010 by saying, "The first thing that comes to my mind when I think of the earthquake is the gripping fear that constricted my stomach. My husband and I had just traveled with relatives to the United States the day before, and we were receiving alarming messages of the tragic earthquake as events were unfolding. Our instant reaction was utter disbelief. We were unable to fathom such a disaster striking our beautiful home. Yet tragically, it was true. Just remembering that stunned moment still gets my heartbeat racing, my stomach and heart tight, and renders me frantic. We were anxious to know if our loved ones were safe. Son, mom, sister and brothers, family, friends, colleagues, employees, staff. Our only thought was, dear God, please let everyone be okay." Genevieve is married to Wilhelm E. Lemke, who is board president and CEO of Enmar Kolda. He has over 30 years of active experience in transportation and logistics. He is also a member of the board of Dade Sky Trading Corporation out of Miami, Florida, a global procurement company. Wilhelm serves on the boards of the Haiti Association of Industries, the Haiti Free Zone Association, Haiti Maritime Association, Haiti Chamber of Mediation and Arbitration, and the Hope Commission. He also is the co-founder of GeoTechSol, a company providing precise geotechnical engineering and testing services to the construction industry with a full-service soils analysis lab and materials testing capabilities. Jeffrey Dedesky is Genevieve's brother. He's also a member of the board of Dedesky Import-Export SA, as well as Dade Sky Trading Corporation. He owned and operated Caribbean Apparel Manufacturing SA, a textile assembly facility with a staff of over 1,200 employees, which also contracts sewed for Hanes. Hanes made headlines back in 2011 when the Business Insider reported from a WikiLeaks post published on The Nation shows that the Obama administration fought to keep Haitian wages at 31 cents an hour. It started when Haiti passed a law 2 years before raising its minimum wage to 61 cents an hour, according to an embassy cable. This infuriated American corporations like Hanes and Levi Strauss that pay Haitian slave wages to sew their clothes. They said they would only fork over a 7-cent an hour increase, and they got the State Department involved. The U.S. ambassador put pressure on Haiti's president, who duly carved out a $3 a day minimum wage for textile companies. The U.S. minimum wage, which itself is very low, works out to $58 a day. Thanks to U.S. intervention, the minimum was raised only to 31 cents. Jeffrey is also responsible for managing and providing technical logistics support for an 80,000 square foot central food commodity warehouse for World Food Program and USAID PL-480 Title II program with over 500,000 beneficiaries in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Michael Lemke is the second son of Wilhelm and Genevieve Lemke. He's the first of the third-generation family members to be working at Enmarkolde SA. Michael joined the family business after working with the Dade Sky Trading Corporation for 2 years in Miami, Florida, and for 3 years with Crowley Maritime Services in Port Everglades, Florida. Crowley falls under the umbrella of DACO. Michael managed the logistics of delivering emergency relief food commodities for the World Food Program post-January 12, 2010 earthquake in Haiti. Digan Dadeski is also a member of the board of directors and advisor of Enmarkolde SA and Dade Sky Trading Corporation. Clive Dadeski is also a member of the Dade Sky Trading Company, as well as the founder of CAD Med, a newly founded high-end medical supplies company logistically based in Miami, Florida, to service the Caribbean and Latin American markets. One company under CAD Med is Velmat, which makes modular hospitals. Thanks to Dadeski's experience in shipping, these modular hospitals can be moved by land, air, or sea. All of these companies are based out of southern Florida, with a focus on operations in either the Caribbean or Latin America. Dade Sky Trading's growing list of customers includes Digicel Group, Dubai Ports World, Ecolog International, Total SA, U.S. Joiner, as well as U.S. and international agencies such as the DOJ, DOD, OIM, SCMS, United Nations, and Southcom. On May 9, 2018, French oil giant Total SA agreed to sell its retail business in Haiti to Bandari Corporation Limited, a consortium formed by local and regional players. When Laura Silsby was arrested on January 29, 2010, it was under the guise of adoption. According to socialistworker.org, the group apparently planned to take the children to a hotel in the Dominican Republic where they could live until a permanent orphanage was constructed. According to the New York Times, the website said the group would strive to provide opportunities for adoption through partnership with New Life Adoption Foundation, which subsidizes adoption for loving Christian parents who would otherwise not be able to afford to adopt. There's no evidence that the missionaries were in any way prepared to care for the children they planned to gather from the streets. It's unknown whether any spoke Haitian Creole or had any familiarity with the country's culture or legal system. Even in the best of times, international adoptions can be fraught with corruption and difficult questions about the rights of birth parents. Those questions are especially complicated when the adoptive parents are white and wealthy and the birth parents or children are poor and people of color. Closed adoptions, where all ties are cut between children and their birth parents, are especially prone to abuse. In Haiti, it seems that the desperate parents contacted by the missionaries weren't told that the children might one day be adopted. Instead, they were told that the children would be cared for and schooled in the Dominican Republic, and that they could come visit one another. If someone offers to take my children to a paradise, a mother told the New York Times, am I supposed to say no? In a 2010 Fox interview with Greta Van Susteren, Silsby's own lawyer, Jorge Puello, stated that Silsby's group took the children from an orphanage that collapsed in Haiti. It was called Friends of the Orphans of Haiti. Friends of the Orphans, otherwise known as NPH, Nuestros Pequeños Hermanos. One of the individuals that coaches leaders in the NPH is Michael Maccabee, a globally recognized expert on leadership who for 40 years has advised global leaders in businesses, governments, unions, universities, and nonprofit organizations in 36 countries. He is president of the Maccabee Group in Washington, D.C., which offers consulting, coaching, research, and leadership workshops. Michael has also authored such titles as Transforming Healthcare Leadership, Narcissistic Leaders, and The Gamesmen. Michael has also done extensive work and research with the NPH. Michael can also be heard literally speaking out in court to defend James Alefantis against claims that Comet's after-hours operations would attract rapes and murders to the area.
Because nobody
I grew up on Lydian Avenue. I've been here since 1970. I went to Merge Elementary School. I remember when Myers was here.
Sir, I have to stop you for 1 minute. You need to identify yourself.
Maccabee, 4825 Lydian Avenue.
Thank you. Thank you. We have to take minutes. That's why
I
I'm
used to play baseball right here on this field. I'm from this community. I learned about, I got notice of this meeting. And I know this community better than anyone. I've been here since 1970. And I can say categorically that Comet Restaurant is a great benefit to this community. This was a community without restaurants. The Thai room was here. I like the Thai room. But can you go to the title and have a drink and a pizza and invite your friends? No. You have to go to Adams Morgan or Yukon Circle. Comet is a terrific restaurant and a great benefit to this community. I've been here since 1970. How long have you been here?
All right.
I grew up on Lincoln Avenue. I went to Merck Elementary School. I learned about this meeting. Comet is a great benefit to this community. And if this committee rejects what James is trying to do, it would be an outrage and a serious detriment, and it's inexplicable. And I would personally seek to remove the individuals who attempt to stop.
Okay, right. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. All right.
Max Maccabee, son of Michael Maccabee and brother to Nora Maccabee, and Yvette Folger, is a Washington, D.C. attorney and sits on the board of directors for Friends of the Orphans. In 1988, Max Maccabee graduated from the Sidwell Friends School, the same school as Chelsea Clinton and the Obama daughters. In 2008, Maccabee represented David Brock and James Alefantis in a counterclaim against a civil lawsuit filed by ex-partner William Gray. Max's sister, Nora Maccabee, is an energy strategist and an award-winning filmmaker. In 2002, she began working with the local government in Grenada, West Indies, to develop clean energy solutions. She co-founded Nature's Partners and the Green Salon, and has spent the last 5 years working primarily with the U.S. Department of Defense as a senior communications specialist. Nora is married to U.S. Army Major Todd Hathaway, who works at the Defense Threat Risk Agency. Max's other sister, Yvette Folger, is a D.C. socialite and is also on the advisory board for Innocence at Risk, a charity founded to tackle child exploitation and human trafficking. She is also in the Visionary Leaders Circle along with Tony Podesta and James Alefantis from Transformer DC. She is seen pictured here with James Alefantis at a party for the Trey McIntyre Project in September 2006. Trey McIntyre is an accomplished choreographer, having worked with the Washington Ballet. The Washington Ballet has many ties to DC's elite and has a long-standing reputation in Washington, D.C. Back in April 25, 2013, CNN Tech reported that the dancers from the Trey McIntyre Project were hired to perform at Hewlett-Packard to inspire the company's employees. McIntyre was hired by then Vice President and General Manager Von Hansen. The Trey McIntyre Project was to be paid $20,000 for dancing on a Boise campus on a day when there were local charity groups soliciting contributions from employees. The Trey McIntyre Project is a non-profit organization. CNN later retracted the story. Von Hansen is now CEO and chairman of AlertSense, working alongside Laura Silsby. Another friend of Alefantis is one Septime Weber, who was the art director for the Washington Ballet for 17 years. In February of 2016, Weber stepped down from the Washington Ballet, and a year later became the artistic director at the Hong Kong Ballet. Weber is seen pictured here with Deborah Sigmund, the founder of Innocence at Risk, who works alongside Yvette Folger. Laura Silsby is also the subject of several lawsuits accusing her and her Boise-based company, PersonalShopper.com, of failing to pay her employees. She also has a history of failing to pay debts, and the $358,000 house at which she founded her nonprofit religious group New Life Children's Refuge was foreclosed upon in December, according to a report in her hometown newspaper, the Idaho Statesman. Silsby co-founded PersonalShopper.com with James Hammonds. They worked together alongside Von Hansen, and back then former HP chairman and also vice president of HP Boise Printer Division, Richard Hackburn. Mr. Hackburn was profiled under the name Jack Wakefield in The Gamesman, the 1976 book about corporate leaders by Michael Maccabee, who portrayed him as the model of a new breed of manager who views business as a game, adapts rapidly to change, and excels at crafting strategies and motivating teams to win. Andy Moore, who also knew Laura Silsby, worked in distribution at HP Boise for 4 years, from 1991 to 1995. Moore is currently involved in an adoption scandal involving heart-to-heart adoptions, where he and wife Melissa Moore adopted Jamaica. According to the story, Jamaica's father's rights were never terminated. Therefore, they cannot get clearance and do not have the requirements to take the child from her home state of Georgia into Idaho as prospective adoptive parents. Heart to Heart Adoptions are members of the Florida Adoption Council, who were founded by Jeffrey A. Caskey and Robert A. Caskey. Jeffrey Caskey is also co-founder of One World Adoption Services. One World Adoption Services have also been riddled with scandal, having been caught producing 120 children without any documentation. Their accreditation was also revoked by the Department of State for substantiated claims of corruption and fraud. One World Adoption Services founder Jeff Caskey is also the father of Cameron Caskey, founder of March for Our Lives and Parkland High student.
So I'd like to ask you right now, why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly? Why don't you give back the money? I think it would be a great gesture. Because she takes a tremendous amount of money, and you take a look at the people of Haiti. I was at a little Haiti the other day in Florida, and I want to tell you, they hate the Clintons, because what's happened in Haiti with the Clinton Foundation is a disgrace. And you know it, and they know it, and everybody knows
Secretary
it.
Clinton's involvement in Haiti dates back over 20 years when then-President Bill Clinton, in late 1993, ordered warships into Haitian waters, enforcing a UN trade embargo and paving the way for Marxist leader Jean-Bertrand Aristide. Aristide was later removed again in 2004 in a coup d'etat, resulting in hundreds of Haitian refugees bound for U.S. borders. By then, the Clinton family had long been conducting their business inside of Haiti. Bernard Sansaric, former leader of the Haitian Senate, explains.
In 2010, we had an earthquake that killed 315,000 people. That's really a deadly earthquake, and millions were left without shelter. President Obama named Bill Clinton as the one that should be in charge of the reconstruction of Haiti. And in that process, the Clinton Foundation, through U.S. taxpayers' money, and people giving money worldwide to the Clinton Foundation for relief effort to Haiti, contributed about $14.3 billion. We're talking about $1 billion, okay? And the Haitian people has not seen not even 2% of that money.
2%?
Nothing was done in Haiti.
Yeah. No, and the New York Times has investigated this. Lots of other people have, and have found that it was donors to the Clinton Foundation that were then given these contracts, and they went in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And at least some of those donors were by way of Clinton family. In 2015, the New York Times reported that Roger Clinton, Bill's brother, parlayed his family ties into a consulting arrangement with a group of builders hoping to sell houses in Haiti, where Bill Clinton's private foundation and Mrs. Clinton's State Department helped direct recovery efforts after the 2010 earthquake. Roger Clinton's intended role, previously unreported, was to use his connections to help win approvals, said Wayne Coleman, a Houston businessman involved in the project, which ultimately went nowhere. I paid Roger $100,000, Mr. Coleman said. Basically, he promised to get us a contract through the Clinton Foundation for a project over there. What he was really trying to do was to sell the influence of his brother. Roger is not the only member of the Clinton extended family to have attracted unwanted attention. Mrs. Clinton's brothers, Tony and Hugh Rodham, also surfaced in various attempts to obtain pardons from the Clinton White House, and in the case of Tony, an unsuccessful bid for his own housing deal in Haiti through the Clinton Foundation. Hillary Clinton's brother, Tony Rodham, served on the board of VCS Mining, a tiny North Carolina company, along with Bill Clinton's co-chair of the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, former Haitian Prime Minister Jean-Max Bellerive. Rodham was on the board of one of only 2 companies that received a gold exploitation permit in 2012 from the Haitian government, a first in over 50 years. According to the Boston Review, the recommendations for using local contractors and the plans to build $8,000 homes were ignored. More international companies were brought in, additional studies were undertaken, and the first contract to actually build a house was not awarded until April of 2012, nearly 2.5 years after the quake and 8 months after the project was approved. The contracts ended up going not to small local companies, but to large international ones, Thor Construction, based in Minnesota, received $18 million, and Cemex, a Mexican company, got over $7 million. Another $35 million went to two Haitian-American firms based in Maryland for environmental assessments, construction management, site preparation, and other associated projects. Thor Construction falls under SEPCO Contracting, which was suspended by U.S. aid back in March 25, 2015, pending the outcome of an ongoing investigation regarding faulty construction practice. Cemex is a multinational building materials company based in Mexico that is a partner of the Clinton Global Initiative and partially owned by wealth management firm Bronfman E.L. Rothschild, L.P. Additionally, Cemex received a $7 million contract from the Clinton Global Initiative nearly 2.5 years after the quake to build houses in Haiti during Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State in 2012. The CEO of Bronfman E.L. Rothschild is Lady Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, who is both a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and confidant of Hillary Clinton. Cemex recently made the news in Tucson, Arizona, when a veterans group called Veterans on Patrol discovered an underground bunker that, according to the group, is being used for child sex trafficking. The discovery was found on Cemex's property. The mayor of Tucson is Jonathan Rothschild. The chairman of the board of Bronfman E.L. Rothschild is Matthew Bronfman, one of the heirs to the Seagram's liquor fortune. Bronfman's sister, Claire Bronfman, is the operations director of the Clinton-connected NXIVM sex call, while his other sister, Sarah Bronfman, is a Clinton Global Initiative member. The Rothschild family has been closely tied to the British Red Cross since its inception in 1870, when the first Lord Nathaniel Rothschild became one of the founding members of the Committee of the National Society for Aid to the Sick and Wounded in War. The Red Cross came under fire to defend its operation in Haiti after it emerged claiming that the charity had built only 6 houses in the country since the devastating 2010 earthquake, despite raising almost $500 million in donations. According to the Polaris Project, a nonprofit based in Washington, D.C. that tracks the number of calls to the National Trafficking Hotline, Florida had the third highest number of reported cases in 2016, behind only California and Texas. On April 10, 2018, the Miami Herald reported that the feds shut down Backpage.com, the classified ad service long derided as the go-to hub for human trafficking, particularly in South Florida. And they've indicted the website's founders and employees, alleging the company raked in tens of millions of dollars while knowingly facilitating the prostitution of minors. Backpage's seizure follows the passage of a new federal law targeting websites that post escort ads, leading an array of sex industry websites to close or restrict usage. That includes the popular mainstream classifieds website Craigslist, which shut down the personal ads where many prostitutes advertised in coded language. In October of 2017, Hillary Clinton's campaign came under fire for receiving more than $5,000 in contributions from the co-owner of the website. The pressure came from Senator Kamala Harris out of California, who had forced a number of politicians, particularly in the border state of Arizona, to return or donate the tainted contributions. The money from the Clinton campaign was never returned. The Backpage.com incident happened in southern Florida, the same district as Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Senator Marco Rubio. It is also the location of Dade Sky Trading Company and Enmar Kolda. In 2017, FBI agents seized smashed computer hard drives from the home of Wasserman Schultz. Wasserman Schultz had demanded the return of the laptop seized by Capitol Police because it was purportedly used by Imran Awan and was found hidden in a vacant office. Wasserman Schultz used a Capitol Police budget hearing to threaten consequences for them if the laptop wasn't returned. Imran Awan is currently trying to strike a plea deal. The scandal forced Wasserman Schultz to step down as chair of the Democratic National Committee, but she continued to campaign for Hillary Clinton. In 2017, the Florida Adoption Council was being investigated statewide over allegations that attorneys were giving big payments to pregnant inmates at a Central Florida prison. And once again, founding members of the Florida Adoption Council are Robert and Jeffrey Caskey. In late May 2018, a group of veterans called Veterans on Patrol discovered an encampment in Tucson, Arizona. They found a baby crib, an outdoor bathroom, pornographic material, hair dye, a 5-foot cave, and trees with restraints on them at the site. Craig Sawyer, founder of Veterans for Children, said, "I served in the military to keep things like this from happening here. That's why I risked my security so nobody here would have to put up with this." Since then, the mainstream media has been largely touting the event as a conspiracy theory. Craig Sawyer had this to say.
Disturbing was there were arm restraints, wrist restraints on 2 trees angled like this to where friends of mine that are investigators that do a lot of stuff on the border say, "Craig, that's a rape tree. That looks exactly like wrist restraints for a rape tree. It doesn't look like anything else."
The land in Tucson belongs to CEMEX.
Hi folks, Craig Sawman Sawyer here. I want to share with you my final response on the alleged child sex trafficking site in Tucson, Arizona. We've concluded our examination of the site and I want to share the facts with you. Due to the initial circumstantial evidence and a number of inaccurate claims, we had believed that an investigation of this site was warranted. A police investigation has been conducted and concluded. I was notified of children in an underground bunker at the site the evening of Tuesday, May 29th, 2018, and responded to take a look. When I arrived there were 3 Tucson police officers and no children. Once Tucson Police Department left, I took a look around the site, documented it with my mobile phone. Based on what we saw, we had concerns. Since then, I've spoken to the media, and as a former federal criminal investigator and founder of Veterans for Child Rescue, I shared my opinion that the circumstantial evidence suggested the site may have been used for something more than just a homeless camp. Unfortunately, large portions of this story were then blown out of proportion, and this started with a false claim of children inside the bunker at a sex camp in South Tucson that turned out to be false. The story that no investigation was conducted is false. I've personally met with Tucson Police Department and reviewed all 9 of the official police reports, and I have copies right here, read through all of them. Tucson Police Department made at least 8 trips out to the site. There were over 20 officers and command staff involved in the investigation. The claim that TPD was not there and did not conduct an investigation is false. The claim that there were children on the site is false. The claim that condoms were found on the site is false. The claim that there was a bloody knife found on the site is false. The claim that there was a shallow grave found on the site is false. The claim that a bone sticking out of the ground was found on the site is false. The claim that a human body was found on the site is false. The skeletal remains were found 20 miles away in Marana, Arizona, not South Tucson at all. The facts are, the police were dispatched to this site at 8:58 p.m. on Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. They responded 5 minutes later at 9:03 p.m. They conducted a 1-hour, 58-minute investigation on the site of the physical evidence. The circumstantial evidence at the site suggested something more than just a homeless camp. We looked around, we had concerns about it, but in the end, there was no physical evidence of a crime. This was not good enough for the public, and other organizations urged further investigation. The narrative was that no investigation was being conducted. That was false. The police were called out as more and more alleged evidence was being found, but it has all turned out to be false. Listen, folks. Child trafficking is a real problem, and it's a big problem. Just because this site was sensationalized doesn't mean the problem doesn't exist. Blowing things out of proportion and exaggerating doesn't help legitimate organizations nor law enforcement combat the problem or save our children. Our organization had nothing to do with the sensationalism surrounding this site, and we are not associated with Veterans on Patrol in any way. They are a completely different type of entity with an entirely different mission. We, Veterans for Child Rescue, are a national organization with representatives in over 136 cities now. We train and support law enforcement all across the United States. We train teachers, counselors in schools, and medical professionals about healthy relationships, cybersecurity, and sexual predators. And we help parents protect their children on mobile and social apps with free downloadable educational material. The Tucson incident has cost us time and taken focus from our mission, and that's not going to happen any longer. This month, we're mobilizing an operation in the Northwest and preparing an operation overseas to break up trafficking rings and rescue children. I want to thank you for your patience and support for Veterans for Child Rescue. Please help us move our cause forward by visiting our website, where you can download free resources to help protect your family.
And we're right there, and our city's right there, and our children are right there. And it's not my problem if it's in our backyard. Well, now it's in our backyard.